My name is Carmen Comer. I was born in Kailua Kona, Hawaii. December 7th of last year was the 74th anniversary of the bombing of Pearl Harbor. December 7th, 1941 was the beginning of World War II. The Japanese Imperial Navy bombed and attacked the naval station in Pearl Harbor on the island of Oahu. There was a great disaster with ships and buildings destroyed, people hurt, wounded, and dying. As a child of 9 years old, I did not know what war was about. We continued with our daily routine and went to school. And we could feel that things were not the same and our lives had changed. One day, a man in uniform came to our school and gave us gas masks to wear. We were instructed how to use it. We carried the gas mask every day to and from school and on our shoulders. There were times the sirens would blare away and we'd run in the back of the school to make shelter under the tree and bushes and hide from the enemies. It was a very scary time to me, just listening to the sirens blaring. One day, some of our friends and I were at the beach swimming. We saw several ships anchored out in the ocean, and we thought that the enemies had come to hurt us. Later, some small boats came inshore, and we found out that they were carrying the American flags. And we were so happy to see them. Some of the soldiers made camp in front of our home and stayed there for several days. My dad found out that they were on their way to the Philippines and other areas to fight the enemies. My dad painted the windows in our house black, so at night the enemies couldn't see the lights and bomb us. Some nights we could hear planes flying in the distance, and we turned our lights off and huddled in the house listening to the planes flying closer over us. I remember that was the most scariest time for me, and I'm sure my parents prayed for our safety. During that time, 4 of my brothers and my dad were either in the Hawaii Territorial Guard or in the Army. And my youngest brother later on enlisted in the Marines. My dad and some of the men in the village formed the home guard. Their purpose was to protect the families at home. They were not allowed to carry guns. Foods were scarce because the cargo ships were limited on the sea. When we did have food delivered, they were rationed out to us. Mostly it was rice and flour and sugar. My mom raised chickens and pigs, and my dad had gone to the ocean to fish. On September 2nd, 1945, Japan signed a peace treaty on the USS Missouri. That was the ending of World War II. In 1954, the USS Missouri was taken to Bremerton, Washington, from Norfolk, Virginia, to be decommissioned. One of the crew members there aboard the ship was my husband, Jefferson Vance Comer. It took from August 25th to September 18th, 1954, to sail the ship from Norfolk, Virginia, through the Panama Canal to Bremerton, Washington. Now, who would have thought that at the age of 9 years old, I would experience some of the effects of war? And having my brothers and dad involved in some way in the military fighting the war. And my husband, Jeff, was on the USS Missouri, where the peace treaty was signed. Only the act of God could have planned it. How awesome is our God? Now that I am 83 years old, I thank God for the memories I have during the time of my life. Thank you. God bless you, and my aloha to you.